Hello everyone, Josh first back again bringing you guys some more Digimon ReArise, and today we're doing another How Good Is It series video, and it's going to be UlforceVeedramon. So he has finally entered into the fray here on our little series. He is a comp personality, 4309 on attack, 5294 on HP, 1120 on defense, which is a little bit on the lower end. However, he makes up greatly for that with 44 speed. That is not a typo. He is a speed demon. I believe at the time of this recording, he is still the fastest Digimon in the entire game. Do not know when he's going to drop for global. He is also a tech attack type Digimon. His skills, his passive main and sub skills, reduce all enemies' tech resistance by 20% permanently, and always use main skill before all other skills on activation. Now we'll go back into that one in a minute, because there is one thing to understand with that passive. Now main skill, 280% damage to 3 enemies, lower all buffs by 1 turn, and increase self-tech by 50% for 2 turns. And that is also something that I'm going to have to discuss in a moment as well, because there's also another caveat to that skill. Sub-skill, 320% damage to single target and lower defense by 40% for 2 turns. So, very powerful skills for our boy UlforceVeedramon. And with his base speed being 44, being basically light speed, super fast, as he tends to be in a lot of Digimon games, he's just going to further establish that speed meta. And by the way, that speed meta does not ever go away. All these people out there that are talking about build your team super tanky, that'll be good short term, but it still won't get rid of speed. And on top of that, a lot of Digimon are still to come that do not care about block rate. So being tanky ain't always going to be so great going forward as well. Speed, speed, speed. I don't care what people joke about with that. Speed is indeed all you need. Okay, that was kind of a unintended rhyme, but it works. So yeah, speed will be a thing forever no matter what, guys. As much as we want to complain about it, as much as we want to talk about it or try to avoid it, it's going to be there. I was just looking in on some of the JP meta earlier today, which I'll be making a video about possibly later or tomorrow, discussing some of the new ancient plugins, which are pretty awesome. Just furthering the whole thing with speed just being everlasting in Digimon ReArise. It just tends to be a thing in a lot of gacha games for their metas in PvP, just the way it is. But enough of that. We're getting off topic. Back to the passive and main skill. There is a caveat with these two skills. For the passive, it says always use main skill before all other skills on activation. That is absolutely insanity. His main skill, of course, is to damage 3 enemies and lower all buffs by 1 turn and increase self-tech by 50%. This means at the start of a fight, you can use his sub-skill and then go directly into his main skill back to back, without any other Digimon even getting to take an attack, because that passive allows him to always use his main skill before anything else, regardless if your team speed is higher than the opponent's. Now, the only way that this can be disrupted is if your opponent also has an UlforceVeedramon and they're faster team-wise, and their main skill is queued up. Now, unfortunately, we can't see when the opponent's skills are queued up, so we don't know when that's going to happen. So the occurrence of that happening is going to be pretty rare, but it can happen, and that is the only way that it can happen to my recollection. I might be missing something there, but I believe that is the only way. If there's some other way, which I don't think so, you can let me know in the comment section below for you JB players out there. But other than that, he's going to be using his main skill no matter what. Whenever you got that thing queued up to be activated, he's going to use it. And that in itself is nuts, because then you can lower defense on a single target by 40%, doing 320% damage, which is going to be pretty good considering that his attack is already over 4,300, not including plugins. He's already going to be adding a lot of speed to your team, because base 44 speed, and then you get another 14 on both attack plugins. Well, I should say technically 28 on both attack plugins if they're gold. You know, he's well over, you know, what, 70, 72 speed, somewhere around there. Pretty nuts. And that's not including when we get ancient plugins later on down the road, which we'll get into that again in our next video. So insane. Now on his main skill, the other caveat to the main skill is it says it lowers all buffs by 1 turn. Now, keep in mind, if your opponent has any kind of permanent buffs from passives, those will not be lowered by 1 turn. So keep that in mind. So if they have like a defense up buff, like 20%, or block rate up buff, like 20 or 30%, and it's permanent, you will not lower those buffs by 1 turn, obviously, because you can't lower a buff of something that is permanent by a turn, because it doesn't have any turns. It's permanent. So that's the only caveat with that skill, but nonetheless, increases self-tech by 50%. So he's got 4,309 attack already. You add 50% on top of that, and then you add 1.5 times damage on top of that with critical damage. Insanity. All right. Very, very powerful unit. Extremely fast. Reduces all enemies' tech resistance by 20%. That's also going to allow you to attack for additional damage on top of that, because, you know, that's going to be 20% more tech damage that the enemy is going to receive. And that's for all enemies. So, just a very powerful skill set. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about UlforceVeedramon? Are you going to be summoning for him? I would recommend it. I don't know when his banner is going to come. I don't know what other units are going to be around at that time either. But even on JP right now, he's still like a top 15, top 20 most used Digimon in PvP. And that's with a lot of other powerhouses still to come. We haven't even gotten to all the big stuff yet here on the channel. We've talked about Omnimon. We've talked about UlforceVeedramon. But there's some other crazy stuff still to come, guys, including a couple of the new ones that JP just got recently, like the new Jess mod, for example. There's also Imperialdramon PM, which is going to be our next video for this series. So stay tuned, guys. We've got a lot of cool, juicy stuff to talk about, and I hope you all enjoy. But this is our boy, UlforceVeedramon. Cannot wait for him to drop. He's a cool design, cool character. Royal Knight. He's blue, one of my favorite colors. And, yeah, so what else is there to say, guys? I'm going to catch you all on the next one. Please hit that like button if you did. Comment below what you guys think about our boy Ulforce. And also, don't forget to tick notifications if you are new and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. And join us in the Discord below. Have an awesome weekend wherever you are. Until then, as always, peace.